Joan Vassos Chock Chapple may be done, December 2, 2025. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bachelor Nation News Fans. When a celebrity couple breaks up, there are almost always signs for weeks or even months leading up to their official announcement. Golden Bachelorette couple Joan Vassos and Chock Chapple aren't huge Hollywood stars. However, their romance played out on television for millions of viewers to see. They got engaged during the season finale in November 2024. A year later, Joan Vassos seemingly dropped a huge hint that the engagement is over. Stay on this page to see the photo that has Bachelor Nation talking. Joan Vassos sparks split rumors with holiday post. Joan Vassos and Chock Chapple don't have a traditional relationship. First of all, they met on a reality TV dating show where she was dating more than a dozen other men. He did propose during the season finale, but they've never made any moves to go beyond an engagement. They don't live together and see each other once a month or less. Joan Vassos kept her home in Maryland while Chock Chapple lives in Wichita, Kansas. The together but not together relationship seemed to work for them. But that all changed over the Thanksgiving holiday. Joan Vassos left her fiancé out of her gratitude list, sparking rumors of a failed engagement. Picture further hints at Golden Bachelorette split. After leaving reality TV, Joan Vassos transitioned into a social media influencer. The 62-year-old recently partnered with Zachary Jewelers for a promotional post. She wrote on social media that the jeweler feels like home to her. "Every piece of jewelry that I have from here is special because it was bought with love from someone we love," she added. Her followers immediately noticed something interesting. In the video, Joan Vassos wasn't wearing her engagement ring from Chock Chapple. The Golden Bachelorette winner asked Joan to marry him with an $80,000 custom Neil Lane ring. But as Bachelor Nation fans know, if a couple breaks up, the ring goes back to ABC. Fans flooded the comments with questions and speculation about Chock and Joan's relationship status. Are you still getting married? Where is your engagement ring from Chock? She definitely is not wearing her engagement ring in this video. I wish they would announce if they're together or not. I noticed she doesn't have her engagement ring on. The missing engagement ring and Joan Vassos not mentioning Chock Chapple during her Thanksgiving video sparked major speculation that the couple is done. However, several fans shared compelling evidence that the Golden Bachelorette couple is still together. One find pointed out, both families were just at Disney World about 2 weeks ago. Chock was pushing littles in a double stroller. Joan Vassos posted a carousel of photos from the Disney World trip. Another fan shared that Bachelor Nation just announced that Joan Vassos and Chock Chapple would be part of the 2026 cruise. Joan Vassos usually addresses speculation about her relationship with Chock Chapple. Stay tuned to see what she has to say about the split rumors.
It was quiet that morning. The kind of quiet that only happens when the world is holding its breath. Joan Vassos stood on her back porch, wrapped in a pale blue shawl, staring out at the water as if the answers were hidden somewhere in the silver ripples. Sunrise brushed soft light over her face. She felt its warmth, but not its comfort. Behind her, the tea kettle whistled. She didn't move. For weeks, she'd been avoiding making a decision, pushing away texts, postponing conversations, and filling her days with busy work. But the silence had finally caught up with her. And today, she knew, was the day she could no longer avoid the truth. She and Chock Chapple might be done. A call that changes everything. Her phone buzzed on the patio table. Chock. Even now, seeing his name made something flutter in her chest. A mix of affection, guilt, nostalgia, and fear. Joan let out a slow breath and finally answered. "Good morning." Chock's voice came through the line, warm but weighed down by that strained politeness people use when they're preparing for bad news. "Did you get my message?" "I did," she said, her voice steady but her hands trembling. I needed some time." He hesitated. Time usually means distance, and distance usually means something's breaking. She closed her eyes. "Chock, can we meet, please?" "Not on the phone." A long pause stretched between them. "Okay," he finally said. "Same place as always?" Same place. The bench by the willow tree. By late morning, Joan was walking along the park path toward the old wooden bench under the willow tree. Their bench. He was already there. Hands in his pockets, shoulders tense as if he was bracing himself against the wind. "Hi," she said softly. "Hi," Chock echoed, standing up as she approached. There was a gentle awkwardness between them, a hesitation that hadn't existed months ago, when everything was new and sparkling and full of promise. Back then, they were the couple everyone rooted for. Charming, mature, honest, hopeful. Now they were two people afraid of hurting each other. Joan sat first. Chock sat a careful distance away. "You've been quiet," he started. "I know." "You've been distant." "I know." He exhaled, frustration slipping out beneath the sadness. "And I can't fix anything if you won't let me know what's wrong." Her eyes filled before she could stop them. "Chock, nothing is wrong with you. You've been wonderful, sweet, patient, but there's always a but." She nodded, unable to meet his eyes. "When hearts want different roads." I didn't realize how much of myself I'd put on pause. After everything, after the show, after the interviews, after all the attention, I thought I was ready for something real. "You are real," he said gently. "I know, and that's part of the problem." He frowned, confused. "I haven't given myself space to breathe, to rediscover who I am now. Everything has been so fast, and you deserve someone who's fully present." Chock was silent for a long while. Too long. "So, this is goodbye?" he asked. Her chest tightened. "I don't know. I'm not walking away from you. I'm trying to walk back to myself." He rubbed his hands together, visibly fighting emotion. "And I'm afraid that when you find yourself, I won't be in the picture anymore." She gently touched his hand. "Chock, if something is meant to stay in your life, it won't leave when things get quiet. I just need to slow down. I need to heal at my own pace." "And where does that leave us?" She swallowed hard. "Right here. Hurting. Unsure. But honest." For a moment, neither moved. The world was still, as if listening. A goodbye that isn't quite one. Chock stood, pacing a few steps before turning back to her. "I care about you more than you know. And because I do, I don't want you to feel trapped or rushed or guilty." She looked up, surprised. "So I'm not giving up on you," he said firmly, "but I'm giving you room." Her breath caught. He stepped closer, kneeling so he was eye level with her. "Just tell me one thing. Is there hope for us?" Joan didn't answer immediately. She looked at the branches swaying above them, the sunlight filtering through the leaves, the path stretching endlessly ahead. Finally, she met his gaze. "Yes," she whispered. "There's hope. But only if we let this moment be what it is, not an ending, but a pause." Chock closed his eyes, relief and pain mixing at once. He pressed a soft kiss to her hand. Then he stood. "I'll wait," he said, quietly. And without needing to hear anything else, he walked away. Not dramatically, not angrily, but with the aching dignity of someone who loves enough to step back. The door still open. Joan remained on the bench long after he'd gone, the bay breeze brushing her hair, the willow leaves murmuring above her. She felt lighter and heavier all at once. They weren't broken, but they weren't whole either. And sometimes, she realized, the hardest part of love wasn't losing someone. It was holding them gently while giving them space to see if the pieces can fit again. She stood, wrapped her shawl tighter, and whispered to herself, "This isn't the end. It's an intermission." Then she walked forward, hopeful and uncertain, but no longer afraid.
Joan tried pretending life was normal. She watered her flowers. She walked the path by the bay. She answered friends' texts with polite emojis and practiced smiles. But nothing felt normal. Every quiet moment became an echo of the bench under the willow tree. Every sunset felt like a reminder of the conversation she wasn't sure she had the strength to have again. What haunted her most wasn't the uncertainty. It was the gentleness in Chock's eyes when he said he'd wait. Not demand, not negotiate, just wait. It was the kind of kindness that hurt more than anger ever could. The letter she didn't send. On the fourth night, Joan sat at her kitchen table, pen in hand, staring at a blank sheet of paper, words pressed at the inside of her throat, desperate for somewhere to go. She began writing. Chock, I don't know if I made the right choice. Maybe there is no right choice when two people care but meet each other at the wrong moment. You are steady and warm, and everything I told myself I didn't deserve anymore. Maybe I pushed you away not because of you, but because I don't know how to accept something so good while I'm still piecing myself back together. Her handwriting shook. All I know is, I think of you every morning. I think of you every night. The silence between us feels too loud. But part of growing is learning when to speak and when to be still. I'm trying to learn both. She stopped. This letter wasn't meant to be sent. It was meant to be felt. Slowly, she folded it and placed it in the drawer beside her stove. The unexpected knock. 2 days later, while she was trimming the rosemary outside her front door, footsteps sounded on the walkway. Joan turned. Her heart froze. Chock. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't frowning. He simply stood there, hands tucked in his jacket pockets, as if unsure whether he had the right to approach. I'm sorry to show up unannounced. If this is a bad time, I can... It's not, Joan interrupted softly. It's okay. He nodded, stepping closer, but still keeping a respectful distance. I didn't come to talk about us, he said. Not directly. I came because, well, you matter. And when you didn't reply to any of my check-ins, I got worried. Warmth bloomed in her chest, the painful, beautiful kind. I'm okay, she assured him, just thinking. You always think too quietly, he said, giving her a small, familiar smile. She exhaled a breath that almost sounded like a laugh. I know. For a moment, they simply looked at each other. Not as a couple, not as strangers, but as two souls caught in the same storm. The walk that says everything. Do you want to walk with me? Joan asked. Chock blinked, surprised. I'd like that. They moved slowly together along the bay path, the air cool and soft around them. Their hands brushed once. Not enough to mean something, but enough to make Joan's heart give a startled flutter. I've been thinking too, Chock said quietly. Not just about us, but about what you said, about healing. Joan stayed silent, letting him speak. I want to be someone who adds peace to your life, not pressure. If stepping back gives you space to breathe, then I'll do it. But I also realized something. She looked at him. He looked straight ahead. You're not the only one who's scared, he admitted. That caught her off guard. You? She asked, surprised. You always seem so sure. He shook his head with a soft, sad smile. No one is sure when their heart is involved. I'm afraid of losing something rare, something I haven't felt in a long time. Her breath wavered. Chock. You don't have to say anything, he interrupted gently. Not today. Not until you're ready. A small shift, a big change. They reached the end of the path, near the tiny overlook where the bay opened into a wide, shimmering expanse. The wind carried the scent of salt and pine. The water caught the late afternoon light, turning gold. Joan stared at the horizon. I don't want to lose you either, she whispered. Chock inhaled sharply, the words hitting him deeper than she realized. That's enough, he said softly. For now, that's enough. They didn't kiss. They didn't hold hands. They didn't rush anything. Instead, they stood side by side. Not together, not apart. Just near. A fragile, hopeful space. A beginning disguised as a pause.